Good evening, Craig Allen with ABC News. The Coalition has launched an all-out attack on Labor's spending, claiming it would add $67 billion in red ink to the budget bottom line. Labor has hit back with fury, suggesting there are serious flaws in the government's calculations. Here's our political editor, Chris Uhlmann.
Malcolm Turnbull wants a light to shine in the darkness.
He's got a $67 billion black hole just over the next 4 years.
As he turns the blowtorch on his adversary.
$1 billion bill.
After Labor pledged $3.5 billion in health spending in a week, the Coalition launched an attack it's long been planning, aided by a lazy line at a town hall meeting.
And to the national media, you can put that on the spendometer, that's another $1 million.
Making jokes about the spendometer. He thinks it's a joke, spending all of our taxes.
Labor knew this was coming.
Let's call Mr Turnbull's actions in the last few days for what they are. A great big fat lie.
Bill Shorten pictures it as the same spending, just competing choices.
You can vote Liberal and mandate a $50 billion tax cut for large corporations. You can vote Labor and make sure that we have Medicare and well-funded schools for all Australians.
The Prime Minister led the charge this morning.
There it is. There, and I'm not a muscle man.
Followed by his enforcers.
He has no money to spend on any of the commitments that he's made in this election campaign.
The broad sum is simple. The Coalition starts by giving Labor $16 billion in credit. It then cuts $18 billion worth of savings booked in the budget but blocked by the Senate. On the Coalition calculator, that leaves Labor $2 billion down before it passes go. It then subtracts $30 billion for Labor pledges and wipes another $35 for government measures Labor opposes. That takes the shortfall to $67 billion. But the devil and the brawl is always over detail. Here's two examples. Most of the $18 billion has been hung up in the Senate for 2 years, so even a re-elected Coalition can't count on it, and it's loaded Labor up with $19 billion in increases in foreign aid over 4 years for long-term goals that both sides share.
That's something the Treasurer admits.
The government hasn't walked away from the long-term commitment on those issues, but the trajectory of our spending over the next 4 years is exactly as we've set it out.
Labor has pledged to spend $800 million more on foreign aid over the next 4 years, so that left a large target.
They know the information they are giving the Australian people is wrong, and they intend to give it anyway.
But this brawl over numbers will roll all the way to July the 2nd. But it's too early yet for a victory lap. Chris Uhlmann, ABC News, Canberra.